This is Victor, and I wanted to do a video to give my opinion and have a conversation on what I think is the situation of Warhammer 40k today. I think today we are in a moment in 40k that have not been ever, I never seen this before. So to help on my rationale, I would like to first to go through the different editions that I played on, what I observed were the changes, and then I will focus a little bit on the what is the situation today, because I think we are in a situation that was unique, never happened before, and I think it's very interesting to analyze and see what can be the future of Warhammer 40k. So first of all, I will say that I will start with the second edition. When I start playing Warhammer, so I never played Grobtvader, I play beginning of the second edition, and I start playing Chaos. And at the beginning, when I start playing second edition, I will say that there were two starter sets, and there were the basic Warhammer 40k starting set, and then there were what was called the Dark Millennium, two starting sets. At that moment, the rules were very complex, the psychic powers were very powerful, and the heroes were very powerful, with some war gear that was incredibly powerful. For example, you were able to have a vortex grenade on a normal battle, or Inquisitor were able to throw a vortex in front of him, killing anything that was in the path of the vortex. So at this period of the second edition, the heroes were commanding almost the battles, was almost a hero fight, where the most powerful hero was the one eliminating the enemy in front of you. So a hero with an axe were able to destroy a Land Rider in one hit. So, but as well, the rules were very complex, and especially the close combat rules were very slow and very difficult to play. So a lot of factors and a lot of things to take into account. So I started second edition. I enjoyed a lot second edition when I was playing, but I understood the movement to the third edition. And third edition was a big change. I think it was one of the biggest change Warhammer 40k ever suffered in the history. That is, they completely start from zero again Warhammer 40k. They changed the rules. I remember that there were a lot of complaints because they changed the combat rules more close to the ones that we use today, and very similar to the fantasy rules. So a lot of people complained that we were moving too much to fantasy, that the game was not the same. All the comments that we always listen when we have a change of version or a change of edition in 40k. But I will say the change was very successful at the end. They simplify a lot the rules, they simplify a lot the codex, they simplify a lot the choices, and they empower a lot the units. So this was a period where the units were the most powerful things. And yeah, they were pushing a lot to play with units instead of heroes, and the heroes were a very second grade in the battle, almost not doing anything. So to the point that most of the people try to avoid the points on heroes and focus only units. So this was a lot the third edition, with very thin and very small codexes. So as I was saying, I just wanted to go for the codexes to show what I mean. So this was second edition codex. You see who was a very thick codex. At that period in time, the war gear was given in cars. Also the vehicles have their own cars for vehicle things. Was there is a Spanish version. The vehicles were given in this type of data slates. The motorcycle was a vehicle that went not this second edition book. So this is quite thick, and inside you had in that period also the army organization was on percentages. Was not based as today, so you just had characters, squads, supporting weapons, and in that case I had demons, and then you choose from this, and so you had a lot of things here. So you were having a lot of things, and the demons were included in the Chaos of second edition. So this was second edition. And then we moved to the third. I said it was a simplification. Look, the two codexes. This one and this the other. Okay, so we moved from a codex of 143 pages to a codex of 48 pages, 100 pages less. And was very simplified rules, very thin codex with the minimum to play. So they just wanted, it was a moment that they changed the rules so much that they have to launch a book with all the armies in one book that was very basic, and then they have to launch codexes very fast because they have to create new codexes for all the armies. And on top of that was the moment that they launch, I have it here I think, yeah, the Dark Eldar, the first Dark Eldar codex. Okay, so this was third edition, big simplification of the game. This was a big change, giving more role to the units. The problem is that at this stage, assault was the way to go. So you were able to assault from any vehicle, you were able to consolidate into another assault. So if you had a good assault and the other enemy was castling, you just smash the enemy down, because you're assaulting and then you kill the unit and you consolidate to another unit, and then you kill this unit and then you consolidate to another unit, and so on until you destroy the enemy without any option for the enemy to shoot at you. And Rhinos were good to transport. Another big change from second to third edition is in second edition, if the transport was killed, the unit inside was killed. They changed this on the third edition, and then all the armies start using more and more vehicles. Then we moved to fourth edition. That was a thicker codex to make a double number of pages, 80 pages. And yeah, between the third and the fourth edition, there was some experimental rules, because in third edition you were able to shoot a unit and then assault a different unit. Then is when they appear the rule that you have to shoot and assault the same unit, and they also start restricting the assault from vehicles, and you only can assault from open top and assault vehicles from that point. So the assault from vehicles was stopped at the fourth edition, if my memory is not failing. Instead the assault was very strong, especially when this codex appeared. There was one of the powers that is the slash that you were moving an enemy unit in the direction that you want. I think was, well, in that case was 2d6 centimeters. I thought that maybe 1d6 inches, something like that. So there was a lot of killing combos in this Chaos army. There was a lot of powerful, and from this period in third edition, what we have start seeing is that in each new codex there were escalation of power. So each time that there were a new codex, the new codex was better than all the previous ones. So there was like escalation of power. During this edition, they did the Age of Terror. So they did the one of the most known worldwide campaigns. They tried to reduce the power of the assault, but it was not enough. I have the feeling that the predominant were still the power and the assault. And then we went to fifth edition. Fifth edition was a fine tuning of the fourth edition. I think is the one of the smaller changes between fourth and fifth edition. Again, a new codex from Chaos Space Marines. They changed now to 100 pages. This is more similar. What we see was the first time in fifth edition. No, sorry. Yeah, in this Chaos, they changed the demons to just lesser demons. They reduced here. There was some changes on the codex. Here is when they start moving the demons out of the codex completely, and then we will have the Chaos Demons codex. But to be fair, the change from fourth to fifth for me was not one of the big changes. There was some rules, some fine tunings, but still assault was quite strong, and I see here is when we had the real escalation of the transport units. Why? Because transporting was not penalized, and the vehicles, almost vehicles with only, for 5th edition, the big change was for me the change on the damage on superficial hits, so on glycine impacts on vehicles. So we passed from the vehicles were very easy to kill, and they start changing the table each time to a point in 5th edition where the vehicles were almost impossible to kill. So Razor were able to resist a lot of glycine impacts without stopping, without being stopped. So this is why we saw in that at the end of the period a lot of mechanized units, a lot of mechanized armies, and I think the escalation were going up. And then we went to the 6th edition, the shortest edition of all them, is when the Flyers rules came up, is when the assaulting was nerfed with the Overwatch, and there were a lot of things to try to nerf more the assault and focus more on the shooting. But they didn't stop the escalation. So in 6th edition we still see that the codexes were getting stronger and stronger until we arrived to the Eldar. I think Eldar was the strongest codex, and from that point they decided, I think Games Workshop did a change of strategy. They moved to 7th edition very fast, I think less than 2 years after launching the 6. As we said, 6th edition is one of the shortest. There was a lot of gaps in the rules that I think they fixed very well on the 7th edition. And they make one of the movements for me that is more important is, first, this when they create all this thing on detachments. So, and in the past we were forced to play with one of these books. Now, in 7th edition, one thing is that we have to be careful, because we can play with any book we want and mix them as we want, depending on the rules of the tournament. But if you play friendly games, nobody's stopping you from playing this, plus Demon of Chaos, plus Khorne, and you can combine as you want. So this is one of the big changes. The other changes is that they put the Flyers that were to overpower it down. I think it was a good movement, and they start balancing more the game. So the new codexes are not stronger anymore, are not the strongest one, and we see that stop on the Dark Eldar, on Eldar, sorry, and this is why we see that Eldar Tau are still very strong. Even demons that are launched during the 6th edition, and they were into the escalation of the power. All the codex we see now are more balanced, I think, are more even between them, and they are not broken as we used to do, and we don't have things that like the serpent in the Eldar. The other thing I want to say is for me now it's one of the best moments in 40k. Never in the history Games Workshop launched this amount of miniatures, this amount of rules, this amount of codex. Almost this week they're launching Khorne, and they are announcing Mechanicus for next week. This never happened before. I think if you want to play now Warhammer 40k is when you have most options, and I think it's when it's more healthy. Even though we see that the numbers of Games Workshop sometimes don't look that good, I think Warhammer 40k never been in push as it is today. This is sometimes a little bit overwhelming for me, because I was used to buy all the books that they launch, and today I cannot afford to go to all the books. I have to be more choiceful, but I think it's one of the most interesting moments, because once they finish with the balancing, and I think they have to balance still Eldar and Tau to put them at the same level of all the other codexes, I think is when we see that they are not broken things. They are not things that are eliminating you too fast from the table. In the 6, everything was moving to, if I go first, I can almost eliminate your army in one turn. No, it's more difficult. The new units are much more resilient to the shooting, and I think no is more balanced. You can see your miniatures more time on the table, and you have so many, and the range of miniatures is so big that you can do what you want. And here is what I like it. Maybe it can be a little bit confusing at the beginning, but today you can make the armor, you can make the army and tailor as you want. If you do Imperial, you have so many choices that you can combine that is making you, is only stopped by your imagination. So you can combine all the armies of the Imperium if you do it well, and you can play each time with a different army if you want. So, and I think this is one thing that I like a lot, that what they start doing is clustering the big factions. So I will say no, today in Warhammer 40k, instead of in codexes, they are big factions. We have Imperium, we have Chaos, we have Eldar, we have Tyranids, Necrons, and Tau, and Orcs. So we have, and they are grouping, and I think this is going to be maybe the same thing that we are going to see in fantasy in future. So I know that there are a lot of rumors in fantasy about that, but I will say that in 40k we are facing this. We are facing that everything is becoming clustered. And we have big factions with a lot of choices inside. So this is all what I want to say, I think. I wanted to show a little bit of the history of Warhammer 40k. I wanted to share with you that, yeah, we are in one of the best moments of 40k, and if you want to play 40k, I think we are in one of the best moments. The identity of the armies are a little bit diluted, but no, can be tailored to your imagination. So you can tailor your army to what you want. You have to be choiceful, maybe you need more effort to do it, but you can tailor the army to what you want. And yeah, I think now Games Workshop is making the new codexes more balanced, and I don't see some things broken. And when they are very strong, they need a lot of points. So that's all. Thanks a lot for watching. Please, I want to know what is your opinion. I want to know what do you think. Are you happy with the situation of Warhammer 40k today? Do you like the new systems? I want to know your opinion. Please leave your opinion in the comment below. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.